Welcome to the South Coast Artist Index Gallery X Documentation Project Series, hosted by Sean FitzGerald. The project is the first phase of an agenda to scan Gallery X's entire collection of documents, including news clippings, posters, flyers, photographs, and more. The scans will be archived and later mined for information specific to the artists who have had their work exhibited or who have performed at the city's oldest continually operating cooperative art gallery. Join Sean and his guests as they discuss the project and the history of Gallery X, its visual, performing, and literary artist members and volunteers.
Hello, and welcome to the Gallery X Documentation Project Podcast. I am your host, Sean G. FitzGerald, and we are wrapping up the podcast. This is our second to last one, and we're saving the best for last as they come through the door. In the studio today, we have a gentleman who has been heavily ensconced in Gallery X for easily over 20-ish years. He's been a staple in the art community. He has really put his thumbprint on the landscape that is the art community here in New Bedford, and it gives me great honor to bring him on the show. And at this time, I'd like to bring him on.
Well, thank you, Sean. Wow, that was quite the introduction. I appreciate your kind words. My name's Matt Ryckebusch, and I have been involved with Gallery X over the years, that's for sure. Thank you for inviting me to speak about the gallery and where I experienced its history.
Yeah, and I mean, when did you start? Actually, let me ask you this. What brought you to Gallery X? Did you hear about something?
Okay, so I've always been a great advocate of the arts. Mm-hmm. I'm primarily a musician, as you well know, and in the early 90s, I practiced with my band at the time, the Dancing Dogs. We actually practiced behind Gallery X on Spring Street. So, as everyone well knows about Gallery X, it all started on Spring Street, and the name originates from having been between the Y and the Z, the YW at the time in the Zeitarian Theater. And again, I've always been a great advocate of the arts. I actually met my wife at Gallery X on Spring Street at the time. My wife, Catherine, who would eventually become the president during the pivotal transitional time when we moved to 169 William Street, the First Universalist Church building where Gallery X now resides and is quite famous for that facility, which is a fantastic facility. It's grown so much over the years. And I think one thing that I can talk about here is that particular history, the transition over to the First Universalist Church building. That's one area where I saw that transition take place, which was a leap for Gallery X, I think. Early on, Gallery X at Spring Street was primarily a visual arts gallery. And, of course, all the founding members from the Swain School of Design, such as Chuck Houck and Johnny Neiman and everyone else who was involved at the time, helped for it to blossom. And those were glory days, for sure. Coming over to William Street, I think the gallery was met with a lot of challenges. Yeah, the transition to the building moved Gallery X also into a performing arts center. And I was there when that transition took place. Well, I remember actually when the building was purchased. I was there with everyone, and it was a mess. There was a lot of work to be done. But the potential for what was to come was clear. And however, there were a lot of challenges that had to be met, not just working on the building, mortar and brick issues, but financial obstacles, and also all the new arts cooperatives that were coming into the scene at the time, such as AHA. What I can speak about, in my experience, what I feel like my greatest contribution was, I acted as the development director for a period of time, while my wife Catherine was the president of Gallery X, and that was a growing period for the gallery, or at least from my perspective, I thought it was. All the great visual monthly shows were still happening, such as the public exhibition, the raffle, and the various other member shows. But at that point in time, there was this great space that Gallery X had at 169 William Street, with, like, for example, in the downstairs area, which is now the Frederick Douglass Gallery, there was a stage, and there's a stage in the upstairs. And AHA came and approached the gallery. And my wife, again, Catherine, at that period of time was, I think, pivotal in making the gallery be a part of not just the visual arts, but the performing arts as well at that facility, along with everybody else. Just the incredible amount of volunteers that were at the gallery at the time, and artists and creative minds.
It's interesting that you bring this up, because Don Wilkinson, I had Don in here, and he touched on the fact that Spring Street served its purpose. It was almost the infancy stage.
Yes.
And they felt they needed more. And when they got to Gallery X, they then realized that they now had so much space.
Yeah.
That presented a challenge they hadn't thought of yet.
Right, yeah.
And, what are we going to do with all this space?
Yep, partitions had to be created for hanging the artwork, pedestals. That's right. And, again, being a group of artists, there wasn't a lot of money at the time, and there was a mortgage that had to be negotiated, and we had to grow up, I think, at 169 William Street. That was the teenage years for Gallery X. It was a tough growing period where grants had to be written. The facility needed to be improved. I mean, that building is a 19th century church that was being converted into this 21st century gallery space and performing arts center. And I remember being at the table when the facility had to become handicapped accessible, for example. And we all collaborated together. We got a grant from the city of New Bedford for the elevator, but it only covered the elevator. So I'll never forget all of us pitching in and building the ramp for entering the building. And that was just one of many challenges.
Yeah. Monumental, really. I mean, what started out as, it seemed to me, researching it as I have, not a spur of the moment thing, but kind of more an organic organization that
Yeah.
just blossomed from Swain, took root on Spring Street, and then needed a permanent home. Amazing how that came into play too, the purchase of the property.
Right. Richard Kellaway was integral in that.
He's an interesting character.
At that period of time. He was the previous owner of the building.
And he was a big purveyor of the arts. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Definitely.
one of the reasons why it went so smoothly for you guys, right? Well, maybe not smoothly, but it went your way eventually.
Yeah. Right. And again, New Bedford, the art museum, the New Bedford Art Museum had just opened. I think Gallery X was there first. And the arts and cultural scene was taking a foothold. But Gallery X was there even before a lot of the galleries now that we see. But it became something more.
Right.
It's not just an art gallery. It's not just a performing arts center. It's a cultural center where people gather, and there were poetry readings, theater. So much.
Gong shows.
All kinds of fantastic haunted houses.
Haunted houses. That's something we should bring back.
Yeah. One of the best haunted houses ever happened there.
Yeah.
And
And we've touched on this, the people who've come in here. And for me, my mother used to tell me about Gallery X, all that she'd be reading about it, and I was so busy. And I didn't really start to get involved with it until about maybe 15 years ago. And it just took hold of me as soon as I did. And I've talked about this. There's something about that place that just, it's not necessarily the structure, certainly the people.
yeah.
As an artist, you can be intimidated by the public, by just other people. I mean, we're sensitive individuals, right?
Right.
And walking into Gallery X, I never felt that sense of
Right.
feeling intimidated.
Exactly. And it gives artists an opportunity that they may not get otherwise under more, say, curated, juried
Right.
shows.
Right.
It gives people a voice. Like, I think of Third Eye performing there. And we had, I'll never forget this amazing graffiti exhibit. And Robert Anderson's theater group, Vinnie Lovegrove and the Puppets, and just so much creativity. The music. I mean, there was the band space, but all the performances that happened there. Not to mention monthly art exhibits. It was aggressive programming, and still is to this day, considering it's mostly all volunteer. So it's a force that really isn't matched in the city of New Bedford. I mean, there's a lot of creativity and wonderful other organizations, but what's happening at Gallery X is community-based. It's extremely creative. All the arts are showcased there, and it's free to the public. It's not only affordable, it extends out to children. For example, I'll never forget the high school select exhibits, spearheaded by Joe Raposa. Yeah.
Yeah, it does what no other gallery does around here.
Right.
And it came at a time that it was so needed, because I think those artists needed a voice, those individuals needed a voice, and it wasn't being projected loud enough through some of the galleries that were here.
Yeah, and it was tough again when Gallery X moved to 169 William Street, there we had to start writing grants and put our nose to the grindstone and figure out how to finance, refinance the mortgage, create relationships with the Mass Cultural Council and the Island Foundation. Those were the stepping stones that allowed for the gallery to continue forth. I bring up Robert Anderson again. I was the development director alongside my wife at the time, who was the president, and grants had to be written. And I remember Robert saying to me, Matt, you write these grants now and the gallery will sustain. But this is the work that had to be done. And there was a lot of rejections. People didn't have faith that the gallery was going to, become the great art institute that it is today. A lot of those grants I wrote got rejected, frankly, but some of them stuck. And, we had capital campaigns. There's a capital campaign happening right now for the gallery. And it was tough asking people to support this organization, which, was alternative. It still is alternative. So, what amazes me always at Gallery X is the artwork that is displayed there. You'll always be blown away by the talent that comes through the door, and that's one thing that's always consistent and amazing about Gallery X.
It's very true. Even, we have problems, as we always have at the gallery, with getting sitters, on the weekends and the time we're open. So I tend to sit quite a bit, not as much as some other people. But my point is that I'm never bored when I'm there. Even if I've been there the day before, I still get up and walk around, take a look at what's hanging on the walls. The two galleries between the main gallery and the Frederick Douglass too. To me it seems, is for lack of a better word, it really is a home to a lot of artists who couldn't find one.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And again, it's a gallery that will give a budding artist an opportunity that they may not find anywhere else. And that specialness alone is what makes Gallery X so wonderful, because Gallery X gives a voice to artists that need their voices to be heard, may it be through visual arts, performing arts, music, poetry, theater, that, they would not be able to find otherwise within the community.
Very true. And you don't know what would happen to that talent if it was stagnated without having an avenue to display it. So thank God for that.
Yeah. And there's also been a lot of great memorial exhibits that have happened there to artists, former Swain School of Design artists. So Bob Henry, I think of, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was a great exhibit tributing a tribute to him, hosted by Baker Books at the time. Yeah.
Baker Books. Yes.
Yeah, Ben Baker was a great advocate of Gallery X. A lot of people came together and believed in Gallery X, and gave to Gallery X to make it that space for people to gather and express themselves.
Thank you for everything that you did.
Well, I didn't do it alone.
No.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Catherine was instrumental as well.
Yeah. We were just taking the ball and running with it at the time, during that period of time in the 90s. Again, that growing stage at 169 William Street. But, all those founding members and everyone else who came on board pitched in and worked, very hard. I could use another term, but they worked exceedingly hard. Like, late nights hanging artwork, putting up, tearing down exhibits. And then, of course, always everybody would chip in, providing hors d'oeuvres for people who would walk through the door. Gallery X was always the place to go to on first night, for example. You could always find a great time for first night, for example. Yeah.
Usually live entertainment.
Yeah.
Always
And when AHA first landed on the scene, Gallery X was right there, opening its doors. And that happened at 169 William Street. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But, that foundation carried over to 169, it being primarily a gallery, hosting visual artists, with a small little shop for people to buy artwork. Yeah, and that's the other great thing, of course. It was a venue for people to exchange work, sell their work, as being members. And so that never really stopped. And of course, the big fundraiser, the raffle, is always an amazingly fun time, and helps to sustain the gallery. That has been going on since the very beginning.
Yeah, that's a fun event each year. I look forward to that.
Yeah. So there's actually lore now to the gallery.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
Very true. Yeah, it definitely has.
And thanks to you, Sean, for creating new events that take place, the music festivals and various other events that now take place in your...
Well, to me, we're fortunate to have an institution like that where you have two stages. Johnny Neiman has set up a great relationship with the Symphony Music Shop. They've donated one small PA, that's the thing we have downstairs. And most of the upstairs PA, I think, came from that shop as well.
Right.
And so it's to me, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. We can do a lot here.
Oh, I know.
It's
and
really
there's been
great.
so many other collaborations like that. Chuck Houck, fostering relationships with other institutions, and all the donations that came in, because everybody knows how special it all is, and the purpose and mission gets sustained because it's just what makes New Bedford great. Gallery X is a large piece to that puzzle, for sure.
Yeah, it really is. And not many other galleries have live performances like Gallery X does, too.
Right, yeah. And, especially the type of live performances that happen, alternative music to classical music, to jazz. All the genres, all the styles, all the media in visual arts have been hosted at one point in time or another at Gallery X.
Yeah, and we're excited. We just teamed up with Jeff Angley and his organization for the Roots and Branches Festival next year.
There you go.
We're going to be helping out with that. And it's good to be getting involved more so with that part of downtown. As you know, downtown's it's tricky how it's segmented.
Well, yeah, before COVID, there was the Upper William Street Arts Festival.
Right. Right. And that's something that, when COVID came in, it really made things difficult to try to get that back on track. Challenges with that, closing the street down. The last time we did it, we had a few issues. The weather wasn't cooperative. But the thing that I love about gallery, there's always something going on. It morphs from one thing to the next, and it seems to me that it definitely has a personality of its own.
Yeah,
right?
That's for sure.
It seems like it's going regardless of who's at the helm.
Well, yeah, but like I said, when the building was first purchased, and there were some moments of doubt. I'll just put it that way, as to whether this was all going to be sustainable.
So let me ask
I
you.
remember in those meetings,
Yeah.
we had financial obstacles primarily, and I remember wringing my hands sometimes when because I was the development director at the time, and I felt a huge responsibility to make connections for fundraising. As I mentioned before, the Island Foundation was, a huge help. I must mention them. The Mass Cultural Council and big donors came through at the time. So it was a time of it was a little bit of a nervous time, but a very exciting one as well. Yeah.
It sounds like it's that old saying about comfort zones. Nothing grows in a comfort zone. You guys were definitely uncomfortable,
Oh yeah.
but things were blossoming, right?
Yeah. There was a lot of debate.
Yeah, so there must have been, especially once you acquired William Street, there must have been debate. Some people have talked about it as far as which direction, what we're going to do, right?
Yeah.
You have all these artistic minds, the ideas are flowing. And
Yeah. Well, I just remember my mission was just keep the money coming in.
And let me just get back to, so you became involved with Gallery X because your band was practicing near Spring Street?
No, behind.
Or behind where they were?
No, we were in the gallery. We were in the
dogs-
back room, and then we would come out to that side room and practice and rehearse. And
it was
and
once-
then when the move happened to 169 William, there was the band room,
Right.
where we paid rent. That was part of how things, again, were made sustainable. Everybody chipped in. So, yeah. A lot of moving factors happening.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just from what I've learned doing these podcasts, to see where it is today.
Yeah. I collaborated with the cable newsnet, Whaling City Cable at the time, I want to say. And we had created a history of Gallery X up to that point in time.
Really?
Of course, that's dated now. It just kind of...
Was it broadcasts?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's available.
Yeah, I can see if I can find it. But in any case, I'm
going to do a search for it because sometimes these things pop up on YouTube.
it should be in the archives at the gallery.
I'll check with Zach.
It was so old, it's probably on VHS.
Beta.
Yeah, right.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So tell
Yeah,
me.
and then of course, just to make ends meet, of course, the gallery had to become available for rental events and that kind of thing. But the overall mission the sight on the overall mission never got lost. And so
it's funny.
still to this day, we're going on, 30 years?
35.
35, right? So
It's funny that you bring up a couple things that are funny. Everything's funny, right? But you bring up the rental fees, and you mentioned you were development director, and Catherine was president. Currently, I'm development director, and my wife Christine is president.
I know.
And we were just talking about the rental fees, because do you realize that those rental fees have not been adjusted since they were set?
Well, maybe it's time to make an adjustment.
We're looking at the rental fees. We're like, this is bargain. I'm surprised more people don't. Like this place.
Gallery X is a non-profit,
Right.
So but on the other hand, there are ends that need to be met.
Still have the mortgage, still have the
Yeah,
boiler.
the utility bills aren't getting any lower.
The roof's not getting less
No,
holy.
right. So, yeah,
The steeple's not it's Steeple's still weathering the storms that come into the harbor.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, we were looking at it. We're like, wow, these have not been adjusted since they were put in place.
Yeah,
So,
I've been up in that steeple.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've not yet been up there.
Yeah.
I should.
Well, just wear your galoshes because
is it wet up there?
there's a lot of pigeons that occupy it.
They had it repointed and everything recently. So hopefully maybe I don't know, but wear galoshes. I will remember that. And so where do you think Gallery X fits in today's world and
oh gosh.
Where might you see it?
I think it fits perfectly in today's world now.
I liked what you said about it being representative of New Bedford.
Yeah, I mean, how every performing artist and band or spoken word group, the first place they look up, and these groups are they're only becoming more and more. Gallery X is that venue.
Yep.
Because the acoustics are decent, and nowhere else do you have such open-mindedness to all those types, styles, and genres of art. I can't think of another venue.
No.
And that's as affordable. So, it checks off both the boxes. It's and all of that, again, I'll never forget it all beginning to happen when the move happened over to 169. And that, it was rough. The building was rough. It was carpeted. It just needed so much. And I'll never forget weekends painting with, again, Chuck spearheading the whole thing. And his friend Brad was so helpful. Just the hours of volunteering, gosh, I mean, it was all a labor of love, a lot of love, whole lot of love.
Yeah, it must feel good to see it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And we thank you for your support.
Oh well,
I mean,
I haven't been able to be as involved over the years, particularly since my son came along. But
that does happen, right?
Yeah,
life happens.
But I'm always rooting and forever will be there supporting Gallery X.
We appreciate that. It was great to see you guys at the music festival last year, and we appreciate all that you've done, you and Catherine. I'm hoping to get another grant so that we can bring her in along with a few other people and help document more of Gallery X.
Absolutely. Well, there's that. I created the documentary with Paulo Baptista.
Okay.
He helped me a lot with it at the time. Visuals, music. It gets into the whole Spring Street beginnings.
Nice.
And then there's a nice, a nice little history of the building itself. I mean, Gallery X transitions so fantastically from the roots of the building being a universalist house of worship. There was that open-minded, liberal strain there, which continues on with Gallery X. Yeah, libertarian. Well, I don't know if libertarian is the right term there, but just supporting freedom, freedom of expression.
I found it interesting that building has been a number of different, as far as different faiths. So a synagogue at one time.
Yeah.
And I wonder sometimes if that's that allure we were talking about.
I have a record. There was an African-American group there, Zion, and I found the record, and it has the choir on the stage. I just had to get it. And there was these signs that said hymns, and you see that on the album cover.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's a gospel record that was recorded down there.
It was recorded at the gallery?
I believe so, yeah. Well, I mean, the album cover was taken
at the gallery.
At the gallery.
Oh, wow.
So I'll have to pull that out.
Do you remember the name of the group?
I'll find it.
I know. We were just discussing memory earlier.
Yeah. Right? It was a group from the 80s or 70s.
Yeah, if you remember.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a search for that video on YouTube, see if we can locate it.
I don't think it's on YouTube. Well, at least
I'll check with Jim Phillips because they have an archive of things.
Paulo would have the masters.
Is
and
he
again,
local?
it was done. I know for a fact I'm pretty sure that there's a video cassette of that. And it was showcased on Whaling City Cable at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to check with... So is Paulo, is he still local?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
We're going to track that down, Matt.
Yeah.
And you are... So besides Gallery X, you mentioned you're a musician.
Yeah.
You're in a local band, one of my favorite bands, the Jethros.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you, considering you're such a great musician. You truly are the front man.
Thank you.
You, in my opinion, are the musical ambassador of New Bedford. You coordinate great festivals and bring people together, and are a consummate performer yourself, Sean. So you making mention of the Jethros and appreciating us means a lot.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. This isn't about me, though. It's about you.
It is. This is all happening thanks to you. You're carrying a important torch, and it's always been, I mean, again, like in the early 90s, mid 90s, even late 90s, you have to, I personally was wondering, will Gallery X sustain? And here we are, a full quarter century into the 21st century, and it is still happening. And that is the most heartwarming thing for me personally, because I'd like to think that that work done early on, foundational programming and grant writing and labor was it wasn't all for naught.
No, it really set it. Literally, that's the foundation that this was all built on.
Yeah, but let's not forget the very, very foundation, which were those who came from the Swain School of Design.
That's true.
And had the gallery, opened the gallery, and had their shows and exhibits. That of course that was the birth of it all.
Yeah.
An amazing birth. But moving over to 169 William, well, that's the part I remember well and can say that I contributed. But I wasn't alone at the beginning. I came into it all at that period of time, and others have taken the torch and have run with it and made the place what it is today, which is New Bedford's premier center for performing and visual arts, Gallery X.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I agree. And what's really encouraging is the amount of new memberships we're getting, youth memberships. It's good to see that the blood is coming in, fresh blood's coming in, and
that's great.
We're going to continue this.
That's great.
What was...
Even the name has always been just really appropriate.
What's iconic?
I mean, it was created due to proximity.
Right.
Right? The lore of having been between the Y and the Z. But on the other hand, you think of that letter X and a lot of the history that goes with it, and it can be anybody, right? Or anyone, or no one for that matter. Yeah. It allows someone anonymity, and that's wonderful too. Yeah, that's what makes it also special.
Yeah. You know, I didn't know that that's where you got the name from. Was between, I discovered that sitting here with everyone, and you just reiterated it.
Yeah.
The Y in the Cyterion.
Yeah.
But I always thought Gallery X, I thought it was like the X Factor.
Or Generation X or
Generation X
Malcolm
or,
X, there's
but always this, and I liked that because the gallery itself, when I walked in, I'm like, this gallery is unlike any other gallery I've ever been.
Yeah. What gallery is it? It's everyone's gallery.
It's everyone's gallery.
Yeah. And, so there is no name that pigeonholes it.
Right.
It leaves it wide open.
Yeah.
Again, from the fine arts to the most abstract arts you could ever imagine. Again, same, it goes for music across those spectrums, visual performing arts, just everything's included and accepted and embraced at Gallery X. And it's been like that for all this time. It's amazing.
And what was Catherine's, how did she get involved with Gallery? You said
Well, so Catherine, she, first of all, is an artist herself. She was, she actually started at Swain as well, but was there when it transitioned to UMass. So kind of like her education, her experience at Gallery X was this transitional time. She was a dual major of photography and sculpture. And she's exceedingly knowledgeable in the arts and is a artist herself, and is a go-getter. Like she really, those early days were a lot of negotiations had to happen. A lot of because it's an arts cooperative. The meetings here. So here's another. Excellent quality to the gallery. It's Robert's Rules of Order are respected there at meetings, and it's truly a democratic process. And sometimes ideas get put on the table, and sometimes they get accepted and not. But when she was president, a lot of new things were coming at the gallery in a new facility. So she, I always think that she played a hugely integral role in that transition from the early Gallery X to the Gallery X we know today.
That's what I found in doing this and the research I've done. Your wife was huge.
Yeah.
Huge part of it.
Yeah. As well as all the other previous presidents. Wendy Meehan. And, so many people. George Saulnier, there's, we still have to credit him for carrying that difficult torch during that transitional, challenging time. Yeah.
What unsung heroes. Right?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why we're doing this too, is Ron wants to, document some of these folks that have kind of been forgotten, whether they're still with us or not. They need to be remembered. Their roles in this whole thing need to be.
Well, that's the thing.
Documented.
A lot of the early people are no longer with us.
Right.
Like LaDonna Johns. But like people like Milt Brightman and Nick Uclea, those artists. Their work is comparable to any great artist worldwide.
Agreed.
And there they are at Gallery X. So you've got that level of artisanship, quality, and the most abstract, and then outside exhibits, people coming from all around the region to show at Gallery X.
We had a girl from Iran last year.
Yeah,
who showed some things there. It's definitely an international spot. We're actually right now trying to document artists who began here and what they've done, where they've gone, the successes that they've had. all stemming from Gallery X.
Yeah. Well, the high school select exhibit was hugely inspirational for young artists coming out of high school, I think. And of course, the public exhibit, that's the core of the gallery. And the members' shows, and all the other various solo exhibits that get featured every so often, featuring former professors such as Sig Haynes and, where else are you finding this in New Bedford? Nowhere else. It's that haven of creativity that's unique.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. We're blessed to be in this area, and at this time too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool time.
Oh yeah, right.
Well, I want to thank you, Matt, for coming in.
Sure.
We're just about at that time.
Hope I was able to provide a little bit of insight as to
definitely
what's happened.
No, you gave a very unique perspective. Each person has, but yours was unique in the sense that you came into it, you were practicing behind the gallery, and it kind of absorbed you. And next thing you know, you're the development director. Met your wife; she's the president. 35 years later, we're having this conversation.
Well, yeah, but we were there again during the 90s, so you can say 25 years later. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if we were 1999, so a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, and again, what you're doing, what Zachary, the director, is doing now. Those are all the pieces of the puzzle we were hoping at one point to get put into place. I have to mention Nilsa, who played a huge role. We created a grant to hire her as the director at that point, and this was all new. It was a struggle, and she did an amazing job at the time, to the best of her ability. Absolutely helped to bring the gallery to where it is now. Yeah,
she's an amazing character.
Yeah, a great artist as well.
Yeah, there's so many just truly outstanding individuals that have come through those doors. Yeah, I mean, I feel really blessed to be a part of it, And like I said, my mom, for years, you got to get down to Gallery X, you got to get down. And she was right. She was right. So, well, okay, Matt.
All right, Sean.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And we're going to be signing off. I am Sean G. FitzGerald, and this has been the Gallery X Documentation Project podcast with Matthew Ryckebusch. Thank you so much, and we will talk soon.
All right. Go Gallery X.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Adios.
You have been listening to the South Coast Artist Index Gallery X series. This series and the documentation project was made possible by ArtNet and Wicked Cool Places, funded by the City of New Bedford through the American Rescue Plan Awards and its Arts, Culture, and Tourism Fund, and is facilitated by New Bedford Creative at the NBEDC.